Hi, I'm Rainey Bastarash, and welcome to the Self-Image Crash Course. In this video, I'll be covering 6 different techniques that you can use to change your self-image immediately. The first thing you need to do, however, is to evaluate yourself to see if there's any areas that you do need to improve in. So I'm going to show you a list of 15 questions that I'd like you to answer true or false to, and please write down your answers so we can tally them up afterwards. Here we go. Number 1. I'm always afraid that my relationships are going to fail. Number 2. When I look into the mirror, I don't like what I see. Number 3. I criticize myself often. Number 4. It's hard for me to forgive people and let go. 5. I feel like I'm not as good as others if I don't do things as well as them. Number 6. My glass always seems half empty, not half full. Number 7. I always seem to be apologizing for things. Number 8. If I didn't finish something completely, I feel like I failed. Number 9. I often feel left out and inadequate. Number 10. I usually think that I should be doing this or that. Number 11. I let other people's thoughts of me affect how I feel about myself. Number 12. I always feel like I'm letting people down. Number 13. In addition to being critical of my mistakes, I have difficulty letting go. Number 14. I'm always trying to please people. And finally, number 15. I don't feel like I did a good job unless someone tells me that I did. Okay, what I'd like you to do now is go back to your answers and count how many questions you answered yes to. Here we go. If you answered yes to 0 to 5 questions, you have a very healthy self-image. We'd like to hear your secret. If you answered yes to 6 to 10 questions, you may be struggling with some important issues. Consider using positive affirmations or some of the techniques that we're going to be covering in this course. 11 to 15 yeses, it's time for a major overhaul in your thought process. Don't worry, it can be done easier than you think, and we'll be going over techniques you can use to do that as well. Here's a brief rundown of 6 things that you can do to start major changes in your thought process right now that will improve your self-image. Technique number 1. A powerful way to immediately stop dragging yourself down is to never finish a negative statement. Think about how many negative statements you say in the course of a day. Those negative statements do have an effect on you. So understanding that they have an effect on you is the first key to this. Here's how we do this. It's called thought stopping. Anytime you find yourself beginning to say something negative, simply say stop right at that point. Now it's great if you can say it out loud, because what you're doing is you're shocking your subconscious mind. You're going stop, and it's like you skipped a beat. You're like, what's going on? Okay, and you change the rest of your sentence. Whatever you were going to say, either don't say anything or end it with something positive. So rather than just stop, think stop and swap. You stop the negative statement and you continue with something positive, or just don't say anything. Thought stopping is very powerful. Now, if you don't want to say stop, you might want to say cancel. Matter of fact, one of my favorite things that I do often is I say it twice. If I start saying something negative, for instance, if I don't want to do something rather than do want to do something, I really don't want to cancel. I say cancel twice and I move on with I really do want to go to the store, or go for a ride, whatever it was. So whenever you find yourself saying something negative, stop, cancel, or cancel, cancel. Technique number 2 is called looking in the mirror. You need to start liking what you see when you look in the mirror. So here's what I want you to do. Every morning when you get up, I want you to stand right in front of the mirror. You're my mirror, okay? So stand right in front of the mirror and find 3 things that you like about yourself. Now what I want you to do is when you come up with these 3 things, I want you to write them down, keep them in a journal or a notepad, so when you're feeling down in the future, you can read them to bring yourself back up. So find 3 things. Go ahead and do the first one right now. What are 3 things you like about yourself? I like my hair. Now don't say anything negative like I like my hair because I still have some left. I like my hair, okay? I like the way I smile. I really like what I do for a living. So there's 3 things I like about myself. I like my hair, I like my smile, and I like what I do for a living. Write them down. Tomorrow morning when you get up, come up with 3 more things. So you're basically building a database of things you like. Because when you find that you're getting down and focusing on negative, looking at this list of things you like is going to change your energy completely. Technique number 3. Find something good to say about everyone you meet. Make it a game if you like. What can you say good about anyone? Even if it's somebody you don't like or you feel neutral about, what can you say good about them? Well, gee, I like his tie. It's a pretty looking tie. Or he looks healthy. Or she's very smart. Or you can come up with the obvious things like they're pretty, they're happy, they're snappy dressers. If it's somebody you really don't like and you can't think of anything positive, you can say they're punctual. Okay, think of something nice to say about everybody you meet. It will make a big difference. Technique number 4. You need to stop shooting on yourself. How many times do you start thinking through the course of a day, I should be doing this, I should be doing that? You need to stop comparing yourself to others and basically using the shoulds. Instead, be who you are. You are who you are. It is what it is. So whenever you find yourself using a should, just let it go. Because by using the word should, you're setting yourself up to fail. You're setting yourself up to do something that you probably don't want to do. You're comparing yourself with others. If you're being you, if you're doing the best that you can, there's no reason to should. So stop shoulding on others and stop shoulding on yourself. Technique number 5. You're going to create an imaginary mirror of protection around you. Consider it a mirror suit of armor or coat of armor. Here's how it works. Now, keep this in mind. Whenever someone's pointing the finger at you saying, you this, you shouldn't that, you're bad at this, you're that. I like to say this, whenever someone's pointing the finger at you, they've got their other fingers pointing back at themselves. So whenever someone's accusing you or pointing at you or disapproval of you, it's a reflection of themselves. Keep that in mind. It's not about you. It's a reflection of their own inadequacies, their jealousies, their agendas. So imagine that you have a suit of armor made out of mirrors all around you. And whenever somebody points something or slings the garbage at you, it bounces right back off and goes back on them. That's the beauty of a mirror. It reflects. So when someone's pointing at you, it's not about you. It's about them. Just think of all the things that people say about you. They don't know you personally. Even in business, they say you're dishonest, you're this, you're that. They haven't even met you. They've probably seen one of your products. They probably emailed you once. So how can they make any rational judgments on you? The reason they're doing this is they're dissatisfied. They're spouting their agenda on you. It's about them. It's not about you. This suit of armor, this suit of mirrors, also has mirrors on the inside facing to you, because I want you to think good thoughts about yourself. And guess what? Those good thoughts are going to keep on mirroring back on you. So you have the mirror inside keeping the good in, and you get the mirror on the outside bouncing all negativity off. What do you got to lose? Technique number 6, creating habits of high self-esteem through affirmations and guided imagery. Now these are the big guns, okay? It takes approximately 30 days to create a change. What I mean by that is to create a habit, something that's an automated function that you don't have to think about anymore. It's a subconscious automated habit like brushing your teeth, riding a bicycle, walking, talking. Those are all habits you don't have to think about. It took you at least 30 days to create that habit. And you know, it takes about 30 days to create a negative habit as well. Let's talk about people who smoke for a moment. Now, yes, you may be a smoker and listening to this, but think about if you're a smoker or if you know someone who smokes, the very first cigarette that they ever smoked. Did they enjoy it? 9 out of 10 people will say no, they did not enjoy the taste of the first cigarette. They were probably gagging and coughing because they couldn't handle the smoke. But guess what? They went through it. They did it again. They did it again, still gagging and coughing, and it got easier and easier until they eventually created a habit of smoking. And they may have even enjoyed it, some people for many years, and then they have to go through the same habit process to try to quit. So you can see negative habits as well as positive habits have to be built through repetition, and it takes a minimum of 30 days to create that habit. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do. You know, anything you do repeatedly will become a habit, and you'll get good at it. Even someone who's a chronic complainer, he's so good at complaining. You might be out with your wife or your husband or significant other watching a beautiful sunset with this couple, and that husband is the chronic complainer. Everything is perfect. I mean, there's no insects. It's the perfect weather. You know, it's nice and cool, and the sun goes down, not a cloud in the sky. It's just wonderful. And you look at him and you say, so what do you think of it? And he goes, yeah, but now it's dark outside. Okay? A complainer who's created a habit of it will always find a reason to complain. So let's find a way to create the positive habit that you want. How are we going to do that? By repeating positive affirmations or suggestions or mantras, or even imagining whatever it is you want over and over for at least 30 days without missing a day. But it's important while you're reciting these affirmations or mantras to, number one, use your imagination. Imagination is key. So what is it you want to do? Let's say it's public speaking. You want to be a really confident public speaker because right now when you go out, you get nervous, you get scared, you start getting sweaty palms, you start getting dizzy, and it's just so hard to get out there and do it. So you create your mantra or your affirmation of, I am a wonderful, confident public speaker. Or even better, I'm a wonderful, confident, and effective public speaker. So what you need to do is you need to imagine yourself on that stage, out front of the people, being a wonderful, confident, effective public speaker. You're just imagining the people looking at you and just kind of hanging off every word that you say. So imagination is number one. Number two is you need to act as if it already happened. I am a great public speaker. In order for something to happen, you need to be able to imagine it and see it happening, or it won't happen. You need to create it in your mind first. Remember this sentence. It will help you with anything. It's 3 words, 3 magical words. To be, act. Now there's a couple spaces. To be, space, act, space. Fill in the space or the blanks with what you want. To be confident, act confident. Think about it. It works with anything. To be happy, act happy. To be silly, act silly. To be sad, act sad. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever acted sad, maybe with your spouse or with your child, and just playing a game, you acted like you were really sad, and after a couple minutes of it, you stopped and you realized you actually feel sad? It really works. To be something, act something. So that's number 2. And number 3 is to be emotional. Emotion is the key to supercharge anything you're trying to do with the subconscious mind. And that works especially with habit creation. So remember, number 1, use your imagination. Number 2, act as if it already happened. And number 3, be emotional. Now you might be asking, how powerful can simple affirmations or suggestions be? Let me show you right now with a short demonstration, and I'd like you to participate. So here we go. What I want you to do is sit back, get comfortable in a chair. I want you to take your hands and put them together just like this. Okay, interlace them, right? Take your 2 index fingers, and I want you to put them straight up in the air, kind of like a goalpost. And what I want you to do is I want you to look right between those 2 fingers. Matter of fact, put those fingers right in front of me. Look between those fingers as if you're looking at my face, okay? So the fingers are kind of fading away into the distance. And as you're looking between those fingers, keep your hand right there. I want you to imagine right now, as you're looking at me, that I'm putting a rubber band right around the tips of your fingertips. So right around the tips, I'm putting a really thick rubber band and I'm letting go. And as I let go, you imagine your fingertips are coming closer and closer together. See that rubber band as your fingertips are coming closer and closer together, and as soon as your fingers touch, you can put your hands down. Now I want you to imagine that I'm putting another, even thicker rubber band, doubled up right on the tip of your fingertips, and I let go, and your fingertips are coming closer and closer together. You might not even see me because your fingers are blotting out my face. Closer and closer and closer until they finally touch. And as they do, you can put your hands down. That's called a suggestion. And you can see how suggestions can be very strong. Why? Because not only did I give you the suggestion that there was a rubber band around your fingertips, but I had you use your imagination. And by imagining, remember, the strength of your imagination causes changes. So even now, in this simple suggestion, the change that it caused is it actually had you believing it on some level to the point where your fingers came together and touched. Now, does that work with everybody? Well, it works with about 95% of the public, because some people, that last 5%, what we call the super analytical, are the ones that won't let go, that try to resist, and everything somebody tells them, they try to do just the opposite. Chances are your fingers did touch. And if they didn't, go ahead and rewind this and try it again. But this time, let yourself go. Use your imagination. Don't be resistant, and just let what happens happens. And you'll be shocked at the power of suggestion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the inside.